guys, it's your boy Anomaly from Sweden, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys CS skins that should not exist. Now, huge thank you to both H3adhunt3r and Krieke who helped with the research for this video and finding all of the items that are glitched or shouldn't exist. And before we get into the list, of course I want to thank today's sponsor, which is Skinport. Now, if you don't know what Skinport is, there is CS2 marketplace where you can buy and sell your CS2 skins safely for real money. And on Skinport, there's no fee for buying skins. So say you wanted to buy this Bayonet Tiger Tooth on Skinport, it's listed right now for 450 euro. Meanwhile on Steam, it would cost you almost 600 euro, which is a very big difference. They have over 1.6 million CS2 skins listed, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And if you sell skins, your payouts are also sent in your local currency with many countries supported. So if you want to try out Skinport to buy and sell skins, then please do so from the link in the description, and thank you once again for sponsoring this video. Now, first on the list is the most famous glitched item, the no-star Karambit. And here it is. Now, you may be wondering why it's glitched or what's wrong with it, because it looks completely normal. Well, you will see the name. It just says Karambit. And if you know skins, every knife always has a star before the name. So you see the star, Karambit Crimson Web, star, Karambit Urban Masked. All of these have a star. However, this one doesn't. And also, it has a white name. You can see every knife always has a purple name, but this Karambit, for whatever reason, doesn't. It's got a white name. And to even further the confusion, this Karambit Vanilla doesn't have a float. It's just 0, and same with the seed. This is the only skin in the entire game that's tradable and has a float of 0. It's owned by HFB, so it's unlikely that this Karambit will ever come into circulation again, and the story about how it came to be is that it was most likely generated by Steam support back in 2014, and the Steam support agent just made a mistake and somehow generated this Karambit the wrong way. I actually had the opportunity to buy this Karambit back in the day, but I didn't because even back then it was very expensive. Now, of course, I wish I would have bought it. Second and third items on this list are both also vanilla knives, namely a bayonet vanilla and a flip knife vanilla. And as you can see, here is that bayonet. Sadly, the inventory of whoever has the flip knife is lost to time, but as you can see, this bayonet doesn't have a float at all. Also, it's not tradable or marketable at all. Now, the story of how this bayonet and flip knife came to be is kind of confusing. Back in the CSGO beta, the CTs started off with the bayonet, that was the CT default knife, and the Ts had a flip knife. And apparently you could get name tags before this was changed, so people think that someone applied a name tag to a vanilla bayonet default knife and then kept it after they changed the default knives, and then afterwards removed the name tag, and that's why it stayed in his inventory. And if this name tag theory isn't the real reason, then most likely it was Steam support who just made a mistake again. Next item is the prototype EMS Kato 14 Challengers capsule. Now, you can see this in ex-pro player AZK's inventory. We have a green prototype EMS Kato 14 Challengers capsule. Now, if you don't know what a prototype item is, it's basically what you get when you have contributed to a case. You would usually get a prototype key from the case where you made a skin for. However, it's already weird that some pro players would get a capsule because they didn't help with the capsule. This was all made by Valve. And to make it even weirder, not all the players from Kato 14 got this. Only the players in iBuyPower did, which is even more ironic when you know that, the match-fixing scandal. Very weird. Next up is another prototype, the prototype Operation Bravo case. And here you can see, this is not a screenshot or anything. This is me on the market right now, and it even comes with its own explanation on Reddit 7 years ago. And he says back in January 2014, 2013, he got scammed by a guy and lost his whole inventory. And he has no idea what that item is or why he owned it, and he says he owned CSGO since March 2013, and he bought Operation Bravo just right when it was released, and he has the bronze coin. This is the outgoing trade when he got scammed, and obviously he had a prototype Operation Bravo case. When I first saw this originally, I didn't believe it because you can easily fake this. However, you can't fake a market listing like this. But this raises so many questions. Why is there a prototype Bravo case when all of the skins in the case was made by Valve and there was no help from the workshop or the community for this case? Because I'm pretty sure the workshop didn't even exist yet. I have absolutely no idea, but this is just straight up an item that shouldn't exist. Another case that really shouldn't exist is the genuine CSGO weapon case. The only items in CS that are genuine, I think, are the pins that you redeem from CS Majors, the Alex pin, which I think you only get if you buy the Steam VR headset, and finally the French exclusive genuine P250 X-Ray, which you can't trade or sell. You get it when you redeem your first X-Ray case. But it makes no sense that a case is genuine. What? I mean, shit, even the glitched prototype Bravo case says awarded to Steam Workshop contributor. So why doesn't this one say anything? I have no idea. This one should not exist. Next fucked up skin is the Souvenir M249 Gator Mesh. Now, the reason why this Souvenir Gator Mesh is glitched is because it's missing a vital piece of information. If you check any other Souvenir Gator Mesh, even from the same year as the glitched one, you will see this one has a lot of yellow text. However, this glitched one doesn't have any text at all. It's missing all that info. My original theory was that it was dropped from a souvenir package like this, and this one has the yellow text for the game. However, this other package doesn't. This is known as a teamless souvenir package, so maybe this Gator Mesh originally came from a souvenir package that's even more glitched than just the teamless souvenir package. Very weird, but I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Coincidentally, next item on the list is the DreamHack 2013 souvenir package. Now, the general theory for these teamless packages is that it was simply dropped before the actual major when Valve were testing their drop system. So I guess technically this item might not be glitched. It's only just a test item, but still, this item should not exist because all of the souvenir packages are dropped during games and this one did not. Next skin is, in my opinion, the coolest one on the whole list, the Nova Predator. Now, if we inspect this Nova Predator, everything looks normal. It looks pretty good. Maybe it's factory new, and it would be factory new if it had a float of better than 0.07 because it is float capped. So the best float this one can have is 0.06. But as you can see, if we check the float is actually lower than 0.06. So how can this skin have a float lower than what it can have? That should be impossible. People first found out about this Nova back 7 years ago, and he explains what he thinks happened, but I think I found the real explanation for it. And it comes from this post where he says, wait, wasn't a Nova Predator dropped with a float below its minimum of 0.06? And he explains, to us, yes, but mathematically, believe it or not, it's technically actually still above a float of 0.06. This number is the closest the binary value can get to the real decimal values. What I think makes this Nova Predator so insane is what comes next. Because the number was dropped down with a float so close to its float capped when it was converted that it was rounded down to what is the equivalent of 0, which means that this is the only item in the game aside from the no-star Karambit that has a 0 float value. Which means if the Nova Predator was not float capped at 0.06, this one would have 0 float. That is actually insane, and that's the first time it's ever happened. Next up is a similarly glitched skin as the Nova Predator, but it's not at the 0 float point. I'm of course talking about the 0.37999 skins. And the issue with these skins that have a field-tested float of 0.37999, but they actually show up as well-worn. Skins like these are also way more common. You can see there is a ton of them out and about, so they're not that expensive, but there's a few very cool versions of it, like these Shadow Daggers Crimson Web, which obviously you can't trade up to. This must have been opened, and if we inspect it in-game, you can see it says well-worn, but it is a field-tested float. Very interesting. I guess this also has something to do with the visual representation, something binary numbers. I'm not fucking Einstein, bro. I don't know. And before I show you the last glitched skin, I would like to mention 3 honorable mentions. This is the first one. What the fuck is this? Why is there a StatTrak Winter Offensive case key? I have no idea, but you can sell it for 10 euro if you want to. Next honorable mention is the Souvenir R8 Revolver Amber Fade, namely with the Cologne 2015 and Cologne 2014 stickers. When the Cologne 14 and Cologne 15 souvenir packages came out, the R8 Revolver didn't exist, but it was added after the fact to the collection, so all of these would have needed to be opened from these older souvenir package. So not really a glitch, but just weird how they added it to the collection after the fact, and it shouldn't be possible to get them with these stickers. And the final honorable mention is the 100 Thieves and Tai Lu Boston 2018 items. All the items from 100 Thieves and Tai Lu kind of shouldn't exist because neither of these teams actually made it to the major. They were added to the store before the major began, and when Valve realized that 100 Thieves and Tai Lu wouldn't make it to the major, they just removed it from the store. So these items aren't really glitched as much as they are discontinued. And the final glitched item in this list is the Souvenir R8 Revolver Bone Mask. As you know, the R8 Bone Mask is from the Bank Collection, and the Bank Collection shouldn't be possible to get as a souvenir because it's not a major map. It's never been played on any stage. However, when you search, you can see there actually exists 9 of these Souvenir R8 Bone Masks, 7 of them having the very old 2013 stickers, and 2 of them having the Kato 14 stickers. You might think this is similar to the Souvenir R8 Amber Fade, but it's not. The Amber Fade is from the Dust 2 collection, which has been played in many majors. This is from the Bank Collection. So why is it in a package? Well, the general theory is when they added the R8 overall to the game, something glitched, and for whatever reason, this is now possible to get from very, very old souvenir packages. I think all 3 of these actually apply. These are very expensive. I think this one cost me about $1,300 because it is the Kato 14 version. And there's a huge pool of items that you can get from these cases, and one of them would be the glitched R8 Revolver. And these are worth thousands of dollars, which is absolutely insane. That's my list of the skins in CS that really should not exist. Either they're glitched, or they were added by mistake, or they're just really weird, like that StatTrak key. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new about the weird skins of CS. Now I'm going to go eat my own ass because I never bought that no-star Karambit back in 2014.